Okay, so today we are just gonna take a quick look at creating limbs. Alright, we're just gonna get a general idea on how to create limbs based on some of suggestions from the anatomy image. We are not gonna be modeling every single part of the muscles again. We are just gonna get some of the generic shapes so that it helps when it comes to creating deformations or animations for these deformations on our character. Okay, so first of all, we are going to extrude our arms out, but before we do that, we need to take a quick look at if there's enough space for our arms to be extruded. So in this case, looking at this arm, we need one more edge loop, okay, for the armpit, because again we want to have 4 faces, just so that when we are creating our arm, it will look much more rounded. Okay, so somewhat like that. And again, once you increase the divisions, just make sure to shape your body a little bit. And we can definitely push this downwards. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it real quick, because if not, by shaping here and there, the tutorial is just gonna get too long. Okay, so extrude it outwards to something like that. Alright, and this is the first thing that we are gonna do, and after we've done that, just kind of shape it a little bit. Alright, and the next thing that we would want to do is to create definitions for our muscles. Alright, so based on our image here, based on the side image here, this is the general shape, right? So we will increase a division here, okay, close by. And with this division, I can easily select the upper part of my muscle and bring it out. And at the same time, again, shape the muscle. And of course, our muscles are not gonna look like what this image is showing in reality, because we have a skin, and with the skin there are some parts that will not look that bulgy, unless of course you are creating a bodybuilder kind of character. Alright, so with this etcher to create that, the next thing we would want to do is, I will use an a split poly tool, and I want to insert something like this and a loop across, and same deal, this is the back, and I'm gonna end it right there. Oops, doesn't seem to want to do that. And again, if it is not showing, you really would want to undo it. Okay, and sometimes we just have to do this the slow way. Alright, so we have this created. This is for us to tuck our muscles in. So before we go into that, just make sure that we are creating quads. And bring this up a little bit. Okay, do something like this. Okay, and of course, looking at the insides, we probably will not be needing it anytime soon. And remember to delete away the non-essentials, and also create the necessary edges for the back. Alright, so once we have that, I'm just gonna select the 4 faces below again. Just gonna do some quick scaling. Alright, and extrude them. Extrude it out. And at the same time, we might want to make sure that we want to put it at an angle. Alright. Okay, so where do we want to place this? Easily, if you're not too sure where your elbow is, somewhere around your waist area. So this is where we're gonna park our elbow, right there. Okay, so somewhere around there would do. And again, I might just want to make my arms a little bit further, somewhere there. Okay, so once I have that, I will need to insert a few edge loops. Okay. And let's see, do I need one more? Well, perhaps. So it really depends on what you need. And the next thing that I want to do is to use my split polygon tool again, and I'm gonna draw. Okay, and basically what I'm drawing is this muscle over here, the biceps. Alright. And again, do remember to turn your edges correctly. Okay, so once you have something like this, some additional stuff that you can do is you can increase it. Okay. And as you increase it, just make sure to shape it, because again, our body is not so blocky. We will need to form the shape correctly. Okay, so let's say for something like this. Bring it out a little bit, and bring this out some more. the sides out a little bit. Okay, so a lot of things that you're looking at is really what I'm doing is just um, shaping it after I create based on the drawings. Okay, so I'm not really doing anything much, and shaping it probably takes a lot more time than really creating the topology correctly. And again, there are people there are artists who are really crazy about topology, and they can really tell you which part is really right or wrong. And again, for my case, I'm not going into that realm too deeply. Okay, I'm just gonna create something that is usable. Okay, so let's see, I have something like this already. Alright, so the next thing is to really, we're just gonna look at some of the issues here that we have, triangles and whatnot. So what we can do is really try fixing it. So I'm just gonna create a triangle here. Okay, so looking at this again, I would want to take that away and instead place it right there. Okay, so again, perhaps I will need to this a little better. Ah, this is too much. And of course, if you're not getting the definition you want, through your smooth preview mode, you can always bring this up more a little bit just to get you the definition. Okay, and you will need to bring this up a little bit more. And again, do not forget to soften edge. Alright. So that kind of give it a little tug there. And of course we can always adjust it accordingly later on. Okay, so the next thing that we would want to do is to move on and create the rest of the arm. And again, if you want to show where your wrist is going to be located, please refer to the image. Okay, so it's somewhere along the groin area. Alright, and once I have this again, this is a little bit too much there. And at the same time, once you have it, just again fix it. Fix the shape a little bit. Oops. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to create 3 edge loops, one for the elbow, one for the midsection of your forearm, and one for the wrists. And again, once you have that, we are gonna select this for the wrists, around the wrists, scale it down a little bit, okay, and just kind of form the shape of how your wrists look like. And this part is probably much easier as you have your own wrist to really follow. Okay, and I'm just gonna bring this down a little. Oops, scale it down a little bit. Scale it down a little bit. Okay, so let's say somewhere there. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is look at how our arm is formed. Okay, so based on the image that we have here, it's showing 2 muscles, right? So that is what we are going to form. So again, your split polygon 2 from the side here. Just gonna cut it somewhere around there. Same deal. Cut it there. And once I have cut it, I can start again just to form the shape of my arm. Okay. And of course this is a little bit drastic. Again, remember to get your shape a little rounded off. And this is a little too deep. So remember to bring it out a little bit more. Okay. And again, if we were to base on our reference, really this is coming from the sides. Okay, so we need to change the topology again. So use my split polygon tool, park it to the side, and then delete away that edge. Okay, so same deal, park it to the side, and delete that edge, so that the sides will now follow and turn around. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is just to do a quick elbow. We can use this triangle by inserting an edge loop here. Okay, so it's just gonna run around, and as it runs around we can form the shape. Alright. Although just be a little careful on the adjustments of your edges at this point of time, because we want to really create a general shape so that something that we can work on easily. Alright, and just to again one tool that you might be interested in, select the objects. You can go to mesh, scalp geometry tool. One of the tools that I often use is the smooth, so I'm just gonna base it on the normal, and again you might want to crank down your maximum displacement, and you can change the radius here or hold down your B key. Okay, hold down the B key and left mouse drag to create to change the radius of your brush, and hitting down your M key. Okay, M key will allow to change the maximum displacement, but at times I would rather do it manually. Okay, so this would really kind of help in averaging out your vertices really quickly. So if you need to average them out or just to move them a little better, this would be the tool to use because it's really fast. Alright, so again, do not forget to delete history from time to time. Okay, so once I have something like that more or less I have the general shape of my arm. Okay, and definitely there are more things that I can do with it, like for example this end here. Again, if I want to, I can use a split polygon. Okay, and it to the side, and it to the side. Okay. Okay. Again, it's dependent on what you need. And again, there are times where I need to really just smooth this out. Okay, so looks like it's working fine. So the next thing that we want to do is the hand. So we are just again gonna do a really quick hand. Because right now we have 4 faces, so either you can duplicate the faces, or you can simply create a new polygon. And I'm going to create a new cube, something like this. And okay, based on the shape of it. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do, and perhaps I will just hide the character a little bit. Okay, so what I need really to do is to form the shape. Okay, so once I have the shape, I'm just gonna model it upwards for the time being. Okay, and what I'm doing is just really working on the palm first, and extrude one more time upwards. Do something like this. Alright, and then the next thing we need to consider is our thumb. Okay, because the thumb in fact is really facing a different angle than the rest of our fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this face and extrude out just a little bit. Alright, okay, so the next thing that I want to do is to look at the segments for my fingers. So looking at this, since my fingers are just gonna sprout out, what I need to do is to split poly. Okay. So based on this will be 1 finger, 2, 3, and 4. So in fact, really I need more than that. And also at the same time, I want to shift this out a little bit. Okay. And insert edge loop, insert one small, insert again, and the last one. Okay, so the next thing to do is to extrude for each fingers just a little bit and scale it in. Oops, sorry about that. Just to make sure. Okay. select those 4 faces, extrude upwards, scale in. Alright, and delete that off. Select the next 4 faces, extrude upwards, scale in, and delete those faces off again by backspace or delete key, don't matter. Okay, so again do the same thing, extrude inwards, just a little bit more, and backspace, and our pinky finger, extrude, okay, scale in, and backspace. Okay, so this is gonna be our base for our fingers, 4 fingers. Okay, the next thing we would want to do is the thumb. So split polygon tool, because I have a lot of illegal faces here, so instant edge loop is not going to be calculated correctly. So I'm just gonna use my split poly tool. And move this around. Oops. Alright. And because my fingers is going to be sprouting out from this side, okay, not the upper side, so I need to form the shape correctly. So probably smaller. Okay, so as you can tell, I have one side, 2 side, 3 side, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides, and whereas my thumb here is not giving me enough sides. So what I need to do is to create additional points or additional edges to deal with that. So split poly tool, okay, from the center. I'm just gonna create this triangle and loop it around to here. Okay, so top and bottom are the same. And the next thing I need to do is to again make sure that they're in quads. Okay, something like this. And again, you will want to form a much rounder shape than this. Okay, and delete that away. So you would have something like this. Alright, and of course our palm, the inside would be going inwards. Okay. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is to create where the thumb is gonna be, where it's supposedly a little much fleshier on this side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the topology here. if I can do it. Just gonna park it right there for a time being. We will fix that later on. Okay. Again, this is just to really quickly alright, and of course for this guy here, I'm just gonna go around. Okay, go around and then come back here. So now I can get rid of this. And looking at this, this is looking rather strange. So what I'm gonna do is to merge these two vertices together. Okay. Alright, so now that we have something additional, again, do spread them out. Right. Okay, so now that you have your palm, alright, the next thing is to create the fingers. So again, fingers are not very difficult. All we need to do really is to create one finger. So I'm just gonna put that on. Okay, so again, we need to create the necessary divisions. So I'm just gonna create one by one. Okay, so that it has eight sides. And the next thing that I want to do is to again form that into a round shape. Okay, somewhat like that. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is, before we do that, we need to look at the number of segments that we have for our finger. So of course we have our nail somewhere around there, right? So this will be our first segment, which is near, closest to the nail. And then we have the midsection, okay, and we have the end section. So for the one closest to the nail and the midsection, I need to increase the number of divisions to something like this. Okay, and we will start forming the shape at a later time, because first of all, we want to get the tip of our fingers correct first. So this is the tip, alright, and what I would usually do is to select these sides. Okay, generally these four corners, okay, and you can pull them back, okay, to form something like that. Alright, So since our fingers are going to be more or less flat, or in this case our fingernails is going to be behind, okay, based on the back. So first of all, make them a little flatter. Okay, then the next thing that I will do really is to form the shapes. So the center one is again is gonna go in. Alright, and this is gonna pop. Likewise the center one. Okay, gonna pop a little bit. Again, not too much. Okay. Then based on this view, again this is looking really flat, so we need to do something about it. And first of all, this itself, scale down a little bit, okay, because this is rounded, right? And the sides here, interesting enough, is gonna pop because it's where the joint is. Okay, again pop just a little bit, not too much. Alright, and once that is done, of course, additionally, we need to form the way fingers are. For example, most often enough you will notice that this side is gonna be much more going upwards, somewhere around there. Okay, and the way our fingers are really, we need to point this going inwards, okay, because this is where they are bending, and this one would be much more pointing outwards. Right, and again I'm gonna just scale in a little bit, and this will be the biggest, and okay, so let's say something like this, and you know that this is the top itself. If you want to, again, this is just a quick way to create fingernails. So somewhere around there, and I'm just gonna scale it one more time. And for this one, I'm just gonna move it out, okay, and rotate them, okay, and bring them in, okay. And again, if you need more divisions, you can by all means do that, but this would create the definition for your fingernail. Okay, and the next thing of course is to delete away the bottom 4 faces. And again, you would really want to make sure that the scale of your finger is correct. So it's pretty much there. It's about 1 finger away. If you want it to be smaller, of course, go right ahead. Okay, but we can always fix that later on. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, I'm gonna go to the front view. Of course, if this is looking way too fat, you can always fix that again. What I'm gonna do in fact is to duplicate one. This is for the thumb. Duplicate one more, middle finger. Okay, the ring and the pinky. And again, before we've put the fingers together, um, some things that obviously that we need to do to make sure that we have enough space for this. So I'm just gonna pull this across. Oops. This would be much smaller. Okay, and again we can fix that along the way later on. I'm just gonna move this aside, and just gonna focus on this guy. Alright. Again, all these fingers right now they are the same size. You would really want to change the size a little bit. Okay, so let's say this is the biggest middle finger, and this would be slightly smaller. Okay, and of course some would say that this is smaller than the index finger, but again it really depends on individuals, and the pinky would definitely be the smallest. Right, somewhere around there. So just make this slightly bigger. So once we have something to base on, first of all I would definitely rotate this. Just to spread them out. Okay, something like this. So once I have something like it, okay, then all you need to do really is to either merge the vertex immediately, or most of the time I would prefer to do is to snap it to points first. Perhaps I'll just move this a little closer. Alright, so now that I have my fingers, and just gonna select these fingers and the palm, combine, and merge the vertices. And right now what I can do is fix it. So let's say something like this, you would always bring it out. So kind of just pull this according to how they would look like. Alright, so right now you will have a nice forefinger for now. Right, again delete the history before I go any further. So the next thing is the thumb, right? The thumb itself is gonna be a little fatter, and of course it has only pretty much one segment, right? So what we are gonna do, we're gonna take away this segment. Alright. And we're gonna move this upwards. Alright. And move this entire thing upwards. And at the same time, our thumb is a little fatter than the rest of the fingers. So something like this, perhaps. So I put it close to there and go back to my front view and just adjust it to something like this, let's say. And of course we need to rotate it a little bit. And then maybe do something like this. Okay. Then I'm gonna use this itself and work according to it. Select the point, snap to it. Okay, so once I have that again, Okay, if my thumb is too big, I can always scale it later. Mesh combine, mesh the vertices. Alright, and of course now is to fix it. And again, if you want to fix it rather quickly, you can use the scalp geometry tool. And let's see, this is maybe too big. Alright, depending on how much you need. Okay, so the next thing is really to fix the rest of this, and just to show you something really quickly. What I would usually do is split poly at these points first. Okay, I'm just gonna circle right in and come back to this. Okay, and for the rest, same deal. Come back to that, and this would, and again changing back into quartz. Okay, again this is also the same deal. Split poly from here. So this would end up here to there, and this would end up from here to there. Okay, and of course use your scalp geometry to kind of spread them out a little. Alright, so once you're happy with the results, then we would delete away this, delete the 4 faces, and we would have our head. Right, so I'm gonna unhide my body, and again your hand should really be the size of your face. And let me delete the history. So if you wanna make comparisons, can do that. And again, depending on your character, some characters may have bigger hands, like ogres and whatnot. You can always base it on your character design. So let's say once you're done, just gonna bring it close. Okay. Delete the 4 faces. And move this up a little bit. Alright, and again, point it. Oh, can always merge vertices. Okay, so once that is, you can again combine and merge. And again, use your sculpt geometry to fix it. Alright, so this will give you some idea on creating arms, and really this is just on the arms. We will work on the lower limbs later on. But as it is, really this is just to shape the body. If you want to have something that looks really nice, again, after you get all this anatomy, you just need to shape them correctly to what you need. Alright, we will talk about the limbs at a later time. Thank you for watching.